You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
I was thinking about this. If you go to a concert, you're going usually because you know the music, you love the music, you want to see your band perform live. And then you can tell people, I saw them, I was there. You can tell your kids, oh, I saw so-and-so live. And if you go and the concert is abruptly ended because the lead guitarist and the lead singer literally get into a fight, the concert's over. You don't get to hear all your songs, but you know the songs anyway. You can hear your songs anytime you want. To me, that's money well spent. I got my money's worth if I went to the Jane's Addiction show.
Now that's one angle I didn't think about. What if someone went to the show and they're upset because it was canceled short, even though they got that ride, which is pretty awesome?
Yeah, where else are you going to get that? You couldn't have sold. You know what? They would have charged a premium. Say, look, this Jane's Addiction
fight night.
Perry Farrell's going to attack Dave Navarro, and they're going to go on stage, and the band is going to break up.
You don't know when. It's going to happen sometime tonight. You don't know when.
Yep.
That's actually a pretty good idea. But do you think someone could shake the cage and try to get their money back? They are refunding money for all the shows
for the future shows.
Not going to happen, yeah. But I don't think people got refunded for that night.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the show started. I don't know what the policy is when you purchase a ticket. You know, if it's canceled, it can't go on because of rain. You know, some of these shows are canceled because there's a technical malfunction. If it's outdoors, you bad weather, something happens. But there is a. It's like people buying tickets ahead of time for Oasis. Like you go into some shows knowing maybe the lead singer had a propensity for partying hard the day before, right, and he may or may not show up.
Let's pull up their track record. Gee, none of their tours ever conclude, so good luck.
Yeah, it's like it's what's the chairs, musical chairs. Like which of the concerts is going to be the one where Noel and Liam just don't show up?
That was back in the day with Guns N' Roses. Axl had various problems showing up for shows, so yeah, that was a common theme. And I think it is. It comes down to the promoter if they're going to be nice or not. I know there was a local concert a few years ago that the headliner didn't show up, and that's the only reason people bought tickets. But the fact that there's a couple of openers like, no refunds. It's like,
I think that's it's pretty bad. Like if the headliner doesn't even show. I mean, I feel bad for the people who bought tickets for future shows because they're not going to see Jane's Addiction. But I mean, there's we're kind of joking. There's a human element here where I think there's somebody who needs a lot of help.
Yeah. Put your big boy pants on. It's time for the big boy pants. I've been using that one a lot lately. Let's see here. Something else came up in the freak news today, and so I didn't get a chance to slip you the information. I don't know if you can help at all. There's this guy, 18 years, he's been paying the wrong utility bill. And it's a utility problem in Northern California there. PG&E is the company, and they had the wires run wrong. So the meter to his neighbor's house was running to him and vice versa. So he's been paying his neighbor's bill for a long time. He's a single guy, and for years he's been trying to lower it rate. And so much, in fact, the reason it came to this, he was putting meters on all of his stuff to see how much energy he was drawing. He's like, this doesn't add up. And they came out and
it's like
whoa.
A hot tub and 7 kids.
Yeah, he's just like, man, I turn my dryer on 24 hours a day. I never get charged for it. It's amazing. So they've corrected, and all he said to the guy is that, don't worry, your regular news status will be reflected on your next bill. So is he going to get money back? And then more so, are those people next door going to get a bill? They're going to show up, hey, you owe us 18 years. You've been paying little, so you owe us $10,000 or we're going to turn off. I mean, you're basically debtor's prison right there.
And they're two separate issues. Number one, the guy who's been paying erroneously for 18 years, I think he's got a very strong case to go back and claw back that money. That is a PG&E issue. The next door neighbors have been paying, their bills. I mean, from PG&E's perspective, at this moment right now, they've been paid all the utility bills they've been owed, presumably. I don't know anything more than you just told me. They're square. The problem is they overbilled the wrong guy. So, yeah, I think he's got a very strong case to go back and get reimbursed for the difference between the bills every month because he's overpaid. And that's not what he signed up for. So it's a violation of the contract that he has, that arrangement with the utility company. Now, will they go back to that other home and try to claw back what they have to pay, reimburse the neighbor for, they're going to have, I think, they're going to have a PR nightmare.
Because their problem, it was their mistake in the first place.
But, this reminds me of a story I read as a kid. Either this or what my mom told me. And I guarantee you she's not listening, so I can blame her for this. And Ross, it's not because she doesn't want to hear you. She's just...
she hates Metallica. Let's be honest. She told me.
Trying to get her to find Kilo 94.3 on the radio. If it's not on her integrated home system, their system's advanced.
Say, Alexa, play Kilo, and it'll go.
But she told me this, or she read it somewhere, but I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, she said, a clever way to con somebody, you arrange with somebody to go into like an empty diner on the side of a highway, and you're the only two customers, and you act like you don't know each other. You both pony up to the food bar, and you order food, and then when the server's not looking, you swap the bill. And the one guy then goes up to the register and pays for the lower amount, and then he leaves. And then the guy who ordered a cup of coffee looks at his bill and says, "Wait a minute, you charged me for, a burger and pancakes and all that. I didn't get this." And they have to say, "Oh yeah, well we must have given it to the wrong guy. So yeah, you do only owe us for your coffee." Now that's the kind of advice I was getting from books or something, like how to really game the small diner ride.
But where's the turn there? So what? So then you only have to pay 59 cents for your meal?
Both guys got away with only 59 cents.
Oh, because the first guy pays the coffee bill.
Pays the coffee bill because these two guys were working together. Yeah.
And the other guy's like, whoa. So they each get to eat for 59 cents a piece. Yeah, I see. Sorry, exactly. I'm a dumb guy. When it comes to, I'm not as good about stealing people's money as you are.
Yeah, apparently I've been versed in this since a child.
Oh man, that's actually a really good scam. Does that work? It's almost like a Dumb and Dumber thing. Did it work? Oh no! In the movie, they catch up with the guys about 5 miles down the road and slit their throats.
Yeah, it was awesome. That's how it really happens.
It was awesome.
Trust me, we've never done that.
Well, see, I imagine it's so funny how pre-internet and the current connectivity that we have, probably the P&G and E would probably try to screw both these individuals if it wasn't an internet thing. And now it's on the internet and it's out there. Like you said, it's a bad PR move for the company, so I imagine they're going to fix it on both fronts. But there was a time where this would have been just a difficult task for both individuals, right?
Well, I don't think the guy who's been overpaying for 18 years, his case is no less or no stronger because of the internet, like because of PR. I mean, that is just a raw, like you overpaid, you didn't get what you paid for kind of thing.
But would you think in a previous years before the connectivity that he would probably have to get a lawyer then to get them to finally give him the cash? Or you think they'd be it's our fault, so sorry? Because no one companies are like that.
And he still may have to. The other thing that they might try to do is just credit him. To get a lawyer?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't know I don't know what PG&E is going to do. The other thing they might try to do is credit his account, the difference. You say, okay, well, which basically might mean he gets, free utilities for the next 6 years.
Right. Something like that. That wouldn't be that bad, I guess, right? Shuffle the money somewhere else. All right. Well, we'll keep eyes on that one, see where the conclusion goes. All right. And then real quick, we'll start to dig in. We got some really great questions here today. One involves probably, if this is true, like the worst tenant you could possibly have and how you evict them. We're going to get to that question answered here in just a few minutes. Real quick, though, as you are, Mr. McDivitt, a divorced father of two amazing children, a man in this world stumbling around looking for love, and a lawyer, you could probably answer me this very well. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least trouble and 10 being you're in the most trouble, how much trouble, legally speaking, is Dave Grohl in, knowing that he fathered a child outside his wedding and now at least one other, what they call her, one of the top alternative porn stars has also been having an affair with him? How screwed is he, divorcedly speaking, scale of 1 to 10?
Here's my problem, and I want to give you a number here because I don't know if he resides in California. I don't know where his residence is.
Yes, California it is. Okay. Why does that make a difference?
Well, because some states have a no-fault. Colorado's a no-fault divorce state.
Oh, we've talked about that before. Yeah, so you could have the most awful husband or wife, and they could do all kinds of horrible things, and you can't use that against them in court, saying, well, this monster was doing this and that, and they say, sorry, that's not admissible, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's irrelevant to determining whether or not the court's going to grant the divorce, and also whether or not, or the amount of spousal support or maintenance that the court will award, or child. I mean, it can kind of play into child support, I guess, a little bit, but I'll get into that.
What's California like? Is California like that?
I don't know. I've never been divorced in California. But I'll tell you, do we know, is he heading to Splitsville, or is his wife
I don't know.
It's his second wife.
Well, hey, unless she's the most forgiving animal on this planet, I would imagine he's probably in trouble. I could get past maybe the first thing, even a child out of wedlock is pretty tough. But then, another one step up. I was having sex. I'm not the baby mama, but I was also having an affair with him. And it's like you wonder how many more are going to pop up. I mean, he's bounced around city to city for 2 years straight.
It's tough. I mean, listen, I don't want to be in the middle of one of those celebrity sports star, rock star relationships. I'll tell you, those lifestyles are just so out there. But I mean, I don't think this marriage doesn't feel like it's going to end well.
I don't think so.
But I mean, he has to pay. They probably have a prenuptial agreement in place. I mean, it's going to be what he has to pay is probably. Only, I mean, if California's like Colorado, if he has to pay extra because it looks bad, it's because of it, just from a PR perspective, maybe. But I don't know that gives her any leverage for extra benefits from the divorce. But I mean, it obviously there's an impact on the kids and
he's got 3 kids too with his wife from 2003. So tough. The one thing is, I'm pointing this. At least we now know that Dave Grohl's human. Up until this point, I was like, man, is this guy even real life? He works so hard, does so much awesome stuff.
Human.
You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
Vita, she had a question about evicting a bad tenant. I really want to talk to her because I got to get her this chick's name and number, right? She's hostile, she's belligerent, she's drunk. She's high, she's crazy, she's a felon, she's a cop kicker, an escort, and she does drugs. Oh, I smell my new ex-wife. What do you think?
Are we talking about me, or are we talking about you?
Me.
She's a
I'm leaving
handful.
my wife. I'm going to marry this dumpster fire, and that'll last about 6 months. I'll be all alone again, John.
Yeah, this is where you're hoping Dave Grohl's making better choices than this.
Yeah, right. So hopefully we can finally be there. We got questions. Now, let's get
By the way, I don't know who this woman, I don't know who this tenant is. If she is, in fact, all those things, that is a handful. But she may be just delightful, too. We don't know.
Wouldn't that be amazing if all that's true, but she's the most delightful person on the planet?
Yeah.
She's like Mrs. Poppins or whatever, Mary Poppins. Oh, excuse me, children. I have to go do some drugs and kick a cop.
Sorry.
I'll be right back. Oh, my God. Okay, let's hear. Let's get serious, lawyer. Jeez, man. Rebecca, my daughter's father has been absent out of their lives for almost 4 years. Is there a way to remove his parental rights? Is this from Dave Grohl's wife, do you think?
Yeah, I love that she's calling Kilo and the Law Frog for this kind of advice. This is good. This is the Grohl family relationship really took a turn.
Yeah, she didn't get a whole lot, man. Anyway, is there a way to remove his parental rights without going to court just due to his absence/abandonment? He hasn't paid child support since he left the relationship and situation. Recently, when applying for a TANF, I'm not sure what that is. Just some kind of a subsidy for single families, maybe. They mentioned.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean it's temporary assistance for needy families.
Okay, and they mentioned they could actually go after him for back child support, but would this give him rights to my daughter? Would it complicate removing his parental rights? I don't think she wants any cash for this guy. She just wants him gone.
She just wants him out of the picture, officially out of the picture.
And even if they do try to shake the guy loose, there's a chance then he's going to try to get through the cracks, and then that might give him some more rights in regards to the child. So, what's your advice there, man? This is a tough one.
Well, it's tough in the sense that it's at the human level, it's tough. From a legal perspective, it's an easier question to answer, which is no, you have to go through the courts. There's no, you can't just go to a website and log in and it shows child and it shows the child's two parents and then you disable dad, or you check the box and that dad is now no longer officially legally dead. You can't do that. You have to go through the court system and a court process in order to have somebody's parental rights terminated. It is a very big deal. Courts are extremely reluctant to do it, but under certain circumstances, they absolutely will. There are times where it is necessary. It has to be, as the court determines, and they use independent voices to get to this, in the best interests of the child. So the court's going to look at a number of factors. It is not an overnight process either. You don't just file the paperwork, get a hearing next week, go in front of the judge, and then the judge rubber stamps a termination. There's a whole series of things, including trying to give notice to dad to ensure dad even knows that this process is taking place. There are 1,000 different reasons why dad might have just disappeared. The most likely reason is the dad just doesn't want to be a dad. And so you've got kind of bad dad, and that would be maybe an instance where the court might take a look at it and say, yeah, really at this point there's there's a good reason, and that is in the best interest of the child to remove dad from this. The fact that dad is applying for certain benefits that are kind of independent of just the process of having parental right, or like if she's trying to go through the termination of parental rights, that he can't backdoor into keeping his rights because of the assistance thing, but it does put him on the radar. We can find out a little bit more likely where he is for service. That's very helpful. So, I mean, if he is applying for these things, that is helpful in the sense of if there was a concern that the guy just disappeared, well, we can find him now. But
really kind of a different way. We mentioned earlier, the connectivity of this world is much more extreme than it was. It's got to be easy to track these guys down nowadays, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I have a very close family friend, and she has a child with a guy, and he just disappeared. I mean, he was just and a bad dude. And wanted to get
guys like that. You wonder, just like, where is he at? Is he still above ground?
He's still above. Yeah, he's still above ground. But she wanted to get him removed, and he, like, every now and then he'd pop back in and say, no, I still want to be involved, and it's just enough. It just dangles enough for the court to not be able to really do much about it.
What is the longevity? Let's say, is there like a number of years where it's just cut and dry? Like, he hasn't been part of our family for 10 years. He hasn't been part of our family for 5 years. Is there a cutoff where it's just like, nope, no problem? There
are like presumptive triggers for what they call abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
If the parent has gone on, the parents disappeared for 6 months without showing any intention of resuming care for the child, the court could determine that parent has abandoned the child. There are some lack of we don't even know who they are for a period of time. You could treat that kind of like amorphous person as having abandoned the child. There are so many different situations here. But again, it's what would happen is, let's say that a parent did, he's not present for 4 years. He gets notice that they want to terminate his rights. I mean, he gets notice, he shows up, and he explains to the court why he's been gone and what he wants to do. And the court's most likely going to say, look, you've been really a crummy dad for 4 years. But you say that you want to help and be part of that child's life, so let's see it. So, demonstrate some level of commitment to the child, and we'll revisit this issue. And there's a chance for that parent to rehabilitate the parent's relationship with the child and involvement in the life. Now, again, if you go through the process of identifying and publishing notice and trying to identify the dad and putting the dad on notice, then dad just totally disappears. Then you can get closer and closer to that point where the court's just going to make it basically a unilateral decision at that point and say, look, I'm only communicating with mom here because dad is just not showing up to even defend his rights here.
And it's sad we're even there. Be a good dad.
Yeah.
Do your diligence. Make a good kid. You owe that to society,
And Dave Grohl made a Twitter commitment, or an X post commitment, to be a good dad to new baby. So we'll see. Color me skeptical right now, but
so funny. It's almost like that's Dave Grohl's Twilight Zone twist. It's like, I want to be in a couple big rock bands and be rich. Okay. Suddenly your life's going to get really complex, though, one day.
Yeah. There's a reality show there.
I got a text from Levita. Hopefully we'll have her check in. She said she's having trouble with her phone. Let's talk about this lane splitting. This is very diverse. If you're a motorcyclist, you're loving it. If you are a driver, not exactly excited about it. it feels like the new lane splitting law is already going haywire. Road signs say bikes should split lanes when cars are stopped or going isn't less than 15 miles an hour, I believe. But it seems the cyclists are taking carte blanche and doing it in active road traffic. Where is the burden for cyclists if they cause an accident by splitting these lanes? How are they going to prove who's at fault? I don't know. When I first heard it, I kind of cringed. I know you know, that's what you guys do most, personal injury.
Yeah.
What was your first feeling about this? Because I mean, you don't like having to take care of people who've been horribly injured in accidents. And I'm sure you've seen your share of horrible stories about motorcyclists, even lived or have passed and left their family behind and some of these things. So I cringe when I first heard this because I know people who have lost their lives in motorcycle accidents, and I don't see people paying enough attention to keep these cyclists safe by doing this.
Listen, I know we represent a lot of motorcyclists, and in many instances, in almost all of the instances of our clients, they were injured, or their loved one was killed because of bad conduct by the driver of a car, negligence, recklessness by the car driver, or some issue with the bike itself. The problem now with this lane filtering thing is that I'm seeing motorcyclists misunderstand or just deliberately choose to ignore the actual law that is now in place, what they're permitted to do, in a way that I think could be dangerous for themselves. I think in 9 times out of 10, car versus motorcycle crash, the motorcyclist is the one who loses. Yeah. I'm not talking legally, I'm just talking in life. They're the ones who are going to suffer the bigger injuries. It's not true all of the time, but 9 times out of 10, that's usually what happens. Now, when you talk about who's going to be responsible, the same way that we determine who's responsible in, a rear end car on car or T-bone car on car in an intersection, you look at the facts, you build a case, and you look at the evidence. So in a situation where the motorcyclist is improperly riding in between lanes, for example, you look at were there witnesses who could describe what the motorcyclist was doing? Is there evidence on the car, the markers on the road, any video footage, that's going to show who's really responsible. I would just tell you, I think what's happening is people are misunderstanding that, and they're thinking that, as traffic is moving, they can then weave in and out of traffic. That's not the case. The intent here is that if traffic is at a stop, then the motorcyclist can safely, and 15 miles or under 15 miles per hour, go to the left of the stopped vehicle in their lane, assuming that they can pass safely in the lane next to the car. And what I'm seeing, for example, just a couple of days ago, I was at a red light. I was the front car at the red light, and I start to go because the light turns green. And out of nowhere, a motorcycle just roars right between my car and the car to my left, to get ahead of us into the intersection. And it just scared the living daylights out of me because that person wasn't there when I started. They weren't coming toward me from the side. I mean, perpendicular. They were literally came right up on me as I'm moving. And it's, I would just ask people to be courteous as we're all trying to navigate this new law. Driver, cyclist alike, please be courteous. Do your best to understand the law. As a driver, you have a duty to understand the law too, because I think there are going to be a lot of car drivers who are angry, and I worry that they take more aggressive maneuvers.
That's a good part of it too. You got part of the motorcycle crowd that aren't using it properly, and then you're going to have 25% at least of drivers that are resentful that the fact you get to do this, and are going to kind of try to park a little side just to make it a little inconvenient.
Inch a little closer to the left. You see a guy coming up and stop traffic. Well, maybe you nudge your nose out a little bit. I mean, that's. Look, we all got to work together. We all have to live together. We share these roads.
Humans, stop being so petty. Where'd that come from? Oh, I think that was the voice of God.
Yes, Dave Grohl. I meant.
Not anymore. Not anymore. You're just a dude. Dave's just a dude.
Paul Schwarzenegger.
Hey, we got her. Lavinia's checked in. We'll figure out how she goes about getting. Probably it could be like, if this is legitimate, it could be the worst tenant ever. And I really want to date her. What's wrong with me?
Get to know her. Oh my gosh, she's a reality show.
Belligerent, drunk, high, crazy, felon, cop-kicking escort that does drugs in the home. I'm in love.
No, hey,
What?
breaking news. I just got an alert that my laundry detergent is being delivered today from Target. So,
Okay, you should go get that before someone steals it.
I'm thrilled here.
I know the main streets of Denver, nothing save even laundry detergent.
You're listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM. Presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
Question about how to legally evict someone. The roommate, no bueno. She's hostile, belligerent, drunk, high, crazy. A felon, a cop kicker, an escort, does drugs in the home. She's not on the lease. It's only a verbal agreement. She has threatened in regards to asking her to leave. I have our texts available at all times. I have told the truth. She's drinking. She has no clues what she says or what she doesn't say from day to day. What does she do, Dave? We bring her online. Hey, Levita, how you doing this morning? You all right?
I'm doing good today. How about you?
Doing well. I hope we can help you out here because this sounds like you're in almost like a movie, like Bad Roommate Hell.
Yeah, it's like a reality show gone bad.
It is like a real world or something like that, right? You always have that really rotten person in the group that everyone dislikes and they ruin everything, but they're a dumpster fire, so they're great on TV.
Right, I have a female puck living in my home.
Female. If you don't know, that goes back to Real World 3, bitches.
That tells you how old Levita is, because So we've come to the part where she has said that she has a place to go, and she's being very compliant. But I need to know to cover myself, other than a notice to quit, where there's no. I don't want her to make partial. I can't take partial payment because then that means I took a payment.
Right. So you guys paid the rent on the first, and you didn't tell the landlord about bringing her into the home. So she's not on the lease or anything. But what Levita is most scared of, David, she doesn't want to get kick this girl out and then come back and have some kind of a settlement against her for illegal eviction. Where does she do? Where's she at?
I want to try to understand a few things. Levita, are you living in the same home with this person?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and are there any other people, and is this your home? Are you the landlord?
No, I'm the tenant that subletted without letting their landlord know.
Yeah, so it's her and her boyfriend who are on the lease, and then they let this person. How long has she been in your home?
Just since May.
Since May, so just a few: May, June, July, August, so about 4 months.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes, and she told me, so this is the deal at the moment. She said yesterday that she needs a copy of the notice to quit, which is a 3-day, and where there's nothing I want from her, and there's nothing that she wants from me. We're just going to end the lease. I just need to know if I need to put a reference to, other than notice to quit, what should I say? I mean, do I write another one that's notice to evict that's a 10-day?
Did you file a Get the F Out 102? Did you get one of those filled out yet?
No, I did this out of the library.
All right, John. I'm screwing around there. Yeah. What are you thinking, Mr. McDivitt?
I am. I don't want to give you the wrong advice here because I want to make sure that you do that.
How does someone who's not on the lease have any rights?
Well,
they do.
They do. Rights. She's created. Yeah, she would have created a month-to-month lease. Essentially, that's how they look at it. So month to month. So you normally you would need to give her 21 days notice to quit.
Okay.
To get out.
Okay.
I would start by doing I do a couple of different things here, but I think the first thing I would do, because you want to be careful that you don't lose your rights to continue to stay in that place with your husband, that you yourselves don't get evicted.
Right.
I would consider talking to an actual landlord-tenant lawyer so that you don't mess this up. But, I think a few things at a minimum. Yes, you need to give her notice. Both, you can do the 3-day notice to quit. The 21-day notice is usually going to help too, because if there hasn't been a substantial violation. you would need to do the 21-day notice typically. And again, I don't practice this this type of law, so I want to be careful here that I'm not giving you the wrong information. And then what happens is if they don't then quit, then you can go through an eviction process, but that usually requires the court. You're not allowed to physically evict her yourself. That'll get you in hot water.
Now, right now, does she still owe money on rent? Do you have her over the barrel there?
No, we covered that. I mean,
so she's up to date. Would that even change things, Dave? If she owed, let's say, a couple months back rent, and you're like, just tell her, hey, I'm going to let you go. You're going to walk away. You don't owe us anything. Sign something.
She's not up to date. She's not up to date. We made it up to date.
Oh, okay. Because you don't want to get kicked out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You just, at this point, Ross, they just need to get her out of there. You can almost sort the money thing out later because they really need to make sure they're not going to get evicted too. Now, when you talked to her, she said she would leave within 3 days if you gave her that written notice?
Or she said she had a place to go, but she needed that notice in order to get help to get in there.
Okay, I see. And that could be
Right.
Yeah. I would start with that.
I do want her to have a place to go. I don't want her to not have somewhere to go, and I don't want her to be living in her car. And if that's what, I just want her to have the paperwork she needs. Yep. And she just keeps saying she needs that first notice, the notice to quit. Which I handwrote like I did, like I got the books but I don't, do I need to go print out the actual thing and have it filled out and have it done that way?
You may be able to, if you go to the library, if you don't have access to a computer and a printer, oftentimes the public libraries might have access to that where you can get it printed or, at least get it saved and emailed, and then you can go to Office Mac, Office Depot, whatever it's called now, Staples, and their print service. You can just log on to a web email address, print it from there, and make it look official. It sounds like what she needs is she has access to some kind of emergency housing, but for her to have access to it, she needs to be able to show that she's been legally evicted or that the current landlord has started the process of removing her, and so she literally has no place to go after 3 days.
Okay.
It sounds like that's what. You've got a pretty amicable situation.
I was going to say, it seems
right
like she's cool with this. Do you get a vibe that she's trying to screw you over, Levita?
Well, at first I did, but after 24 hours of speaking to Levita, she changed her tone. So I just, it is what it is. Like, you can stay here and continue to do what you do, and all of us are going to get in trouble. Or you can take the high road and literally and shut up and just let's do this, because it's a problem for everybody, and it's the one person. And so I did this out of kindness in my heart, so don't screw me over while you walk out the door, kind of thing. And so I want to make sure I give her what she needs to get somewhere, but cover my butt the whole time. So
that's great. You're a good person, Levita. You're all right.
It sounds like this, the goal, and I'll tell this to anybody who calls me with a legal issue. If you can work it out, that is the better way to do it. And because then, she can get to a safe place, you can get her out of there, you guys can all just move on with your lives. Make sure that you're safe. If she's volatile, then, tenancy be damned, you need to make sure that you protect yourself physically. That's the number one thing. You can't walk back from that.
Right.
And then, Levita, next time the door knocks and it is a hostile, belligerent, drunk, high, crazy, felon, cop-killing, escort, drug doer, and they want to move in, what are you going to say?
I'm sorry, you had the wrong house.
I'm sorry, you have the wrong house. See how polite, right there.
You get 5525. Maybe that's what you're looking for. I'm not sure.
Well, good luck, okay?
Yeah, I really appreciate it. So the notice to quit, and then I can do the 21-day one, correct?
Yeah, do that just to cover your butt a little bit. I think it seems like she's cool with it. She might even be out of there in a couple days once she gets her new place, new accommodations taken care of.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for rocking, Levita. Appreciate your call this morning. Thanks for picking up the phone.
All right, y'all have a great one.
All right, you have a good one, too. Man, that's tough. Such a nice lady, right?
She is, and I want to make sure, I going back and forth there, it could be that her subtenant is Levita. And so, because we should probably use an assumed name for the caller.
Yeah, LV. We'll just call her LV. How about that?
No, I don't. Well, anyway, that was. I think it's going to work out. I'm very hopeful.
Yeah, it seems like the other girl's probably appreciative that she's not just getting kicked out. Because she probably realizes she probably needs to be just kicked out.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to the Law Frog Radio Show with David McDivitt and Ross Ford on Kilo 94.3 FM, presented by McDivitt Law Firm.